Welcome back to the Packers Corner. Back after a win, much more enjoyable than our get together last week, guys. Nice to be here with you. We got a lot to get into, but first and foremost, we got the W. So we're gonna go over that, break that down. We got a bit of a new segment tonight, perhaps. I'll let you introduce that in a bit here, Dad. We got to talk about Jordan Love and his injury situation, and then of course look forwards to the Titans game. We'll see you on the other side.
The autumn wind is a packer, blustering in from the bay. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, banging the drum all day. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a cheese-filled cash with a green and gold cape on his back and a frozen stiff mustache. He rumbles across the tundra, a hero brave and bold. And the fans all cheer and raise their beer as he fights through rain and cold. The autumn wind is a packer, tackling just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and bask in the Titletown sun.
Are you fired up, Schmitty? Can you feel it? We got a win. You and I are both 0-2 on our predictions, but how are you feeling after we took down the Colts with the backup QB there? How'd we get it done?
Griffey, how special was that win? For me, that was top 10 in the recent years for me. Matt LaFleur, I think he said it was a top 5 victory. Autumn wind is Malik Willis, apparently. He showed up. Incredible game plan by the entire staff. This whole game just reinvigorated me to believe that we have the juice to be successful this season. I did not think, Griffey, in a million years that we had 50-plus rushes in our back pocket to win a football game. And I talked about the turnovers last week. Incredible work by the defense. Again, the turnover ratio, winning that. Hafley, Xavier McKinney is just a stud. Griffey, I want to get champagne out right now again. I was tearing up, listening to Malik Willis in the press conference, and he's just given a bunch of accolades to said he's only known for 3 weeks, helping him along, the coaching staff. I can't be just more excited about where this team could potentially go while Jordan Love is away from us.
Dad, what were your initial takeaways? I wanted to, shout out and ask you a question here because I was at the game, so I didn't get the official report from the TV announcers or anything. Was that a record in the first quarter for the amount of rushing yards we had?
I think it was second place or right up there. Maybe that was relative to the entire league. I didn't see for sure. But, guys, I broke this down last week, and as I said, I didn't see much difference between Anthony Richardson and Malik Willis. Anthony Richardson has not played very many games in the NFL. I didn't see much difference between Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. I didn't see much difference between our defensive front and theirs. I did see a big difference between our secondary and theirs. And this game was not that we were playing at home. This was an evenly matched game. We should have been a 1 or 2 point favorite in this game, and Vegas just got it wrong. Now, all that being said, we had a masterful game plan. A lot of things went our way, and it was a great team victory. And you could make the point that this is the kind of victory that does galvanize the team because we needed the whole bunch. We can do a little nitpicking here, but for right now, we might have to consider this segment that we're going to add. The second line of that beautiful poem, "The Autumn Wind." Don't you get a lump in your throat and a tear in your eye and a crick in your knee every time you hear that thing? I mean, I'm ready to suit up and jump on the field, but I'd probably collapse after one play. But at any rate, the second verse of that beautiful poem, his face is weather-beaten. He wears a cheese-filled cash with a green and gold cape upon his back and a frozen stiff mustache. Now, there's the 3 attributes that we can consider for awards. The frozen stiff mustache is for the stiff of the game. I'm not so sure that guy is on the Packers side of the field. But then the cheese-filled cash and the golden cape, that could be the one, like in hockey, they got the 3 stars of the game, The cheese-filled cash could be the second star, and the green and gold cape could be the first. So maybe we'll bat that around. I got some ideas who would fulfill those 3 attributes, but let's move on with your next question before we dive into all of that.
Well, that's exactly what my question was going to be. You had it all teed up there. I want to hear who you have for this inaugural awards ceremony.
Well, you got to tease it a little bit, as far as the green and gold cape and the cheese-filled cash, you got to go with, your candidates there. Certainly going to be the coaching staff, potentially for the green and gold cape. Malik Willis, could be Josh Jacobs if he didn't fumble going in like Jonesy did with the Vikings. Another little point of contention there. You could even put the punter. Certainly not the kicker. Narvi might be a candidate for the frozen stiff mustache, but we're not going to go that far. But anyway, I'd entertain your thoughts about this. I got a real good candidate for the frozen stiff mustache, and it might be a little bit of a sidewinder. So why don't you guys toss
mine's going to be Narv Dog. I want full credit for the nickname Narv Dog for Braden Narvison. Big fan. Love the guy's attitude, but we've seen enough of this missing kicks when it matters and could close out the game. So he is getting a frozen stiff mustache from me. Schmidt, do you have any awards you want to throw out?
Let's give the cape to our friend Xavier McKinney for another interception. He is incredible. And then I like giving the cash to our friend Josh. Our running back was incredible, Griffey. We asked him to rush the ball 35 times. I mean, the work that we put on him, excellent. And then the guy that I thought was who I thought was a stud last week, we can cut him now. Quay Walker certainly gets the mustache, because I'm not thrilled with some of the lines he took to try to tackle Jonathan Taylor.
I think you'll have more to add on to that, Dad. I got to give a green and gold cape to Romeo Dobbs for the nice jump ball play he made down the sidelines. That was a fun one to watch in this stadium. It was right on our sideline there. That was a heck of a play, and at a important time too. So we were happy to see that. Dad, what do you have here?
I think the green and gold cape probably goes to Coach LaFleur. The way he schemed up that running game with different formations, motions, wide receivers running the ball, halfbacks running the ball, didn't go to the zone running scheme, more of a gap running with pulling guards. It looked like the Green Bay sweep. You turn the play around the end and you run the ball through the alley. Vince Lombardi. It was
like a seal here and a seal here, and run the ball through the
Jerry
alley.
Kramer turning the corner with Jim Taylor running the football. I mean, it was the ghosts of Lambeau Field pass. It was such a beautiful thing. But I think Coach LaFleur had a masterful game plan. I give Malik is right there for the green and gold cape. I mean, this kid, 3 weeks, and I think his teammates love him. And he didn't make a single mistake. I have a little nitpicking to do at the end of the game, where I would have liked to have seen LaFleur, as good as he is at scheming things up, giving him one shot to end the game so we don't have to watch a ball fly to the 5-yard line and see if it's going to bobble up in the air for an end of the game. But this is nitpicking. So, but anyway, probably Coach LaFleur. And my stiff mustache is the head coach and the offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. For God's green earth, you're on the 30-yard line with 3rd and 1. Where a touchdown puts you right to 16-13, and you take Jonathan Taylor off the field and you run an option play wide and lose 5 yards. If that isn't the dumbest football since the 5th grade jamboree, I don't know what is. That was just brutally. And thank you very much, Coach. But I don't know the name of the Indianapolis coach, but I thought that was the frozen stiff mustache.
Schmitty, we got a quarterback situation. We all had a heck of a fun time watching Malik Willis. Reports from Rob Domofsky that it was true story that Jordan Love was awfully close to playing, that wasn't gamesmanship. You have Adam Schefter saying he doesn't see Jordan Love coming back till week 4, maybe week 5. So we're getting both ends of the spectrum there. What were your sentiments here on that matter?
Well, it's great that we have seen such quick progression out of Malik Willis, and great job by Goody to get him into the building. Uh, when this happened against the Eagles, I said 0-5, Griffey, so 5 weeks that we wouldn't have Jordan. I'm still sticking true to that we're going to be 5. Maybe he gets back for that Vikings game. But if Malik Willis, if he finds another dub this week, I mean, why bring him back? You're at worse than you're 2-2 going into October. That seems way ahead of schedule. I thought we'd be over. So I don't know how much of a controversy per se, and I think there is a little gamesmanship there. I didn't think at all that Jordan had a chance to play this week. You're probably not going to see him in practice. He's going to be DMP for all the practices until he actually shows up for the game on Sunday, whatever Sunday that may be in the next month or so. We need our $55 million man back out in the field as fast as possible. I think we can all agree who we'd want playing quarterback, but Malik has definitely shown us that he has all the ability, and more so that MLF has a scheme to get this guy to where he needs to be and feel comfortable about what kind of defense he might be going up against. So no controversy in my eyes. Let Jordan rest to his full ability, especially if we can win one more football game while he's out.
I might have a bit of a different perspective than you guys, but just to share that with you is, I grew up watching number 4 play a lot of football. I got to give some credit to 12 as well. He playing through about a season's worth with a calf injury, hobbling around on one leg, playing with a broken thumb. He had the avulsion fracture that he played through, and I think it's time for Jordan Love to come back, and I think he could have played this week if it was a playoff game. I think we got to wrap that thing up tight and show a little gumption there. But maybe I'm a little too old school that way. Dad, what's your sentiment on the matter?
Well, if you're too old school, what hope is there for me? I mean, he should have rubbed some dirt on it and been out there this week, for crying out loud. This is a national football game. We had Brett Favre play 275 games in a row, and a little bump on the knee. Come on, if he's not out there this week, I tell you what, I'm going to throw my hat on the ground and stomp on it before the game time, because it's time to buckle up, hitch up your britches, tighten up your bootstraps, and let's go. Put it on. So you talk about old school.
And I mean, it's not an injury where he has a great risk of really creating a worse issue, right? You can maybe hurt that MCL a little bit more and maybe get some more inflammation, but it's not going to be a structural problem. It's a pain tolerance problem, and yeah, we've seen guys play through that. I think
Marco Rivera played the next week on an MCL at guard. Come on. Strap it on, put a brace on there, wrap it up nice and tight. We can have a game plan that reduces your exposure to hits. We can, go with the running game, but Jordan Love gives you a chance to actually move the ball down the field. Now, quickly, just switch gears very quickly back to the Grand Gold Cape. We did not mention the offensive line. Offensive line is definitely an honorable mention here. Good Lord, we got 3 of the guys puking, one on the football during the play. Talk about a gamer. Yeah, I got to throw up in the middle of a play. Not only do I not call timeout, I just go ahead and throw up, snap the ball, and block my man. Are you kidding me?
Can you tilt your head to the side and miss the football so our quarterback can throw the ball?
You don't want to peek on his buddy, the other guard, and goof up his block. So I guess he just put it on the ball. But this is unbelievable here. O-line, give me some kudos there.
That was great the way MLF recounted that one. Yeah, so speaking of old school, Schmitty, we got to go back to our favorite topic to visit on the show here. Caleb Williams. Schmitty, are you out yet?
You out? I'm not out. I am not out. You can't pull me out of that foxhole just yet. I'm in the hole with Caleb. I'm holding steady. We got a bunch of Packers on the horizon. I can see him running down the hill. I'm still back to back with my old friend Caleb. I just think he needs time. He's a rookie quarterback. They're 1-1. They got a good defense. the coaching staff, I think, is they just don't get it right. They're just like the Jets in that sense, Griffey. It just seems like there's just too much turnover. They can't foster in a quarterback and really like see him to full progression, which is a much different case up here in Green Bay. You wonder, like the Sam Darnolds of the world, where he was a top pick and just went to the Jets to die, and now he's having a resurgence 7 years later. I really think it's quarterback coaches and the head coaches, like just giving them a good environment to be in, to work, to progress and get better in the league. And I just think the Bears just don't give him that chance. So I think he has a bunch of talent, much like Jordan does. They're just in much different situations, coaching staff wise.
I got a simpler explanation for you on that one. The kid doesn't have it, Schmitty, and it's not a physical problem. It's in between the ears, and I don't want to denigrate the guy too much, but you know what I think about leadership when you're putting on some of the stunts and the antics that guy's doing. We don't need to get into it too much, but you also have to be able to make decisions quickly and effectively and get the ball out on time. And that's a whole different skill set. He's never shown that in college. I didn't see it once. He's got certainly some physical gifts in terms of he's going to have a play, in a couple weeks here, maybe this week, where he makes 3 or 4 guys miss in the backfield and he puts the ball in the bucket 40 yards downfield. We've seen him do that. Nobody's going to be surprised when he pulls another one off. But if he steps back and gets the ball out, as soon as his third step on a 3-step drop hits the ground and completes the ball over the middle 3-4 times in a row on one drive, then my tune might change. But until we see that, I'm not too worried about our friends to the south there, our enemies to the south, we should say. But Dad, do you have any thoughts on Caleb Williams? Do you have a chance to watch him?
Well, I think it's probably a week or two off until the Bears faithful is pining for those glory days of Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. And I think they'll probably be working behind the scenes to see if they can do an even up swap for Bryce Young over there with the Carolina Panthers and bring him over and see if they can get something out of him, because at least he doesn't have a man person, painted fingernails and tie-dye underwear. So that's where I see the whole thing going. It's a disaster over there as usual down south.
Well, DJ Moore, the receiver, if you recall, he didn't look very happy in the game. I don't know if you guys got to see just his facial expressions. He wasn't exactly thrilled with his quarterback performance, but he was the guy that said, I don't see why we need to get rid of Justin Fields. That there's a couple guys coming out early in the draft, and are they better than Caleb? I don't know. And so that was his take going back to last year. And so we'll see how this all transpires. Well, just like Jordan Love is going to persevere through his injury, we persevered through a little bit of technical difficulty there. We'll cut that up. But just to finish my rant on Caleb Williams, it's all over but the crying for Chicago. And, the Packers are going to win a few more Super Bowls before they get a 4,000-yard passer here. So let's move on and talk a little bit about the forthcoming game here. We got to look forwards towards Tennessee. Dad, you've been kind of a noted Will Levis supporter. What do you have to say about Will Levis's performance to this point?
Next question, please.
Well, how do you think he's going to fare against Jeff Hafley and the Packers defense, maybe?
Well, I sure hope he doesn't fare any better than he's fared in the first couple games. That'd be just fine with me at this point in time. I think we're going to have to light the young quarterback up. I think you're going to see something different. We've faced 2 guys who can run the ball all over the field, supreme athletic specimens of Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson. It's clear they've been rushing in lanes and trying to contain them in the pocket, which I think was the right thing. But, Rashawn Gary, we haven't heard his name hardly mentioned, have we? I mean, so you're going to see the dogs turn loose. We're going to see some guys coming at the quarterback, and I think we're going to see the quarterback on the ground. And so I'm predicting Jordan Love's going to play, and the Packers are going to do what they need to do to get the victory here.
Schmidt, do you have any thoughts on that matchup?
I do. I was really impressed with our front four this past week. I thought they did an incredible job. It seemed like whenever we sent 5 or more, we didn't really have much benefit there. So I would love to see us get home a couple times. I think what's been a good recipe for us is this turnover ratio, and we've done pretty well. I would assume that we're going to go back to that and win, hopefully 3-1, 2-0. We've done a really good job on that back end. Xavier McKinney back-to-back weeks with an interception. I am really hopeful that that our offense can run this scheme again, because it's good to do it one week. It's hard in the NFL where everyone's watching tape and can dissect literally everything, every step that you take out on a football field, to be able to put this together again. That meaning that I don't think we're going to get Jordan Love back this week. I don't think that it's going to happen. Malik Willis was so efficient last week. That offense running the ball, like, that was an incredible recipe to win a football game, and really hard to do. You don't see that much very often, where you rush that many times and can put a team away like we did with the Colts. I think we've just gotten a lucky draw too. Like the Colts, I don't think are destined for much this year. The Titans, I don't know how much impact they're going to have on the league. So if there's games to play when your starting quarterback's out, these would be it. I'm just not sold, Griffey, that we're going to be able to have a sustained offense for this coming game. And so I think the Packers end up losing this game 17-14. It's just, again, one of those things where I thought we were going to win ugly, and I thought we won. It was kind of ugly. That second half didn't look very, very good. And so I just don't think it breaks our way this time. And that's sometimes that's the NFL. You get some breaks one week, you don't get those the next, and so you lose a one-score football game. And I think that's going to be the case.
Well, I think you raised a good point, shouting out the defensive line there. And Dad, you touched on this too, but those are two elite rushing quarterbacks, and that's really been an Achilles heel, is those running quarterbacks over the last decade for the Packers. We've seen a number of them run wild all over us. And so I think that signifies the change that Jeff Hafley's brought into the building and adapting to the modern NFL. Will Levis is a guy who certainly can run around a little bit and has plenty of athleticism himself. But I think we're going to do a good job keeping him under control. And I think even with Malik Willis, we might be able to pull one out just like the Bears did. We get a special teams touchdown. We get a defensive touchdown. We run the ball a little bit. I think that gives us a chance, but I think we need a break that way if that's the outfit we're going with. If we get Jordan Love, I think we're going to cruise and be just fine. Now, we saw even in that Colts game, we racked up just about 200 yards rushing and before the first quarter was over, and then by the time the second half rolled around, wasn't nearly as effective. So I think you make a good point there. Teams know after seeing that what it might look like, but I think that gives us an opportunity for maybe we get a deep one to Jaden Reed, maybe we get a deep one to Christian Watson. Maybe we let Malik Willis do his thing a little bit more as he adjusts and has been in the building a little bit longer. So I'm 0-2 to start off the season. Schmitty, I'm going to do you a favor and at least make sure one of us gets a victory this week so we get off the schneid. So we got that going for us there. Dad, did you have a thought there?
Yeah, I just have to qualify that prediction. I am 100% with Schmitty. If Malik Willis plays this game, we do not win. We don't pull the rabbit out of the hat twice with that deal, which is why it's imperative that Jordan Love buckle it up and strap up that knee and get in the ball game and get us a victory, because you're not gonna pull the wool over the eyes twice if Malik Willis is the starter here. So what
noted Viking fan there, my father. You like what we did there?
Icons. Oh my gosh, I go up on my keyboard here. Now I'm on the Packers because I think that Jordan Love's going to play, but I think it's only fair that if the injury report indicates that he's not going, that I'm on Tennessee.
We'll let you reserve the right to withdraw that pick. And we'll throw up an Iowa Hawkeye there for you, so you and your brother Wick can be in sync that way too. Whatever it needs to get done.
Iowa's struggling a little bit this year. We should say a prayer for Wick. I think they lost to Iowa State, and they had a tussle. I don't know if they won last week or not, but they were playing the Little Sisters of the Poor. I'm not sure who it was, but
they got the Gophers matchup coming up here now.
That should allow them to get healthy.
We might have to get a little message from Wick out to the boys, see if he can inspire, a win or two down there in Iowa City. I'm sure they'd love that.
I think he's still pining for Cooper DeJean to have worn green and gold, and it didn't quite work out. So I think it's a little bit of a sore spot still.
He's soured on the Packers because of that, I'm sure. And he keeps telling my wife positive things about the Vikings every time I see him. So,
Schmitty, I got to tell you, Quay Walker is my new Darnell Savage. I've got a burr under my saddle with this guy. Was overdrafted. Griff, if you would queue up for next week the angle he takes in Philadelphia against Saquon Barkley with a wide open hole, nobody but him and Saquon, and he angles for the part of the hole where there's a bunch of clogged up guys so that Saquon can run to daylight. This is the thesis of the angles he takes and the feel that he plays with and the sense of the game. He's just a good looking guy in underwear at the draft party, but when it comes to strapping it on and making a play, and Schmitty, he had the game in his hands at the end right there, make a play. So I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy, and I'm not trying to denigrate him personally, but we're just not getting anything close to average linebacker play out of a number one draft pick. And it is time to sink or swim with the rookies. Get Edgerrin Cooper out there. It looked like Eric Wilson played pretty well. Isaiah McDuffie is just a nice try hard, good backup kind of a guy, special teams guy. You want him on the team, but he cannot. So this is going to be what determines how our defense evolves. The sooner we get those young guys on the field, the better off we're going to be, because
Eric Wilson
very down on Quay Walker.
Eric Wilson graded out with the highest grade amongst all defensive players this week for the squad. So yeah, that was encouraging to see. Let's cut Edgerrin loose, see what we can do there. Schmitty, do you have any
2 weeks? Quay Walker on the, what do they call it? The PPF grades is like PFF. 46 out of 55 linebackers, and Isaiah McDuffie is 50. So we're not really looking very good. That's the one part of the defense where we're a little suspect. So let's see if we can get an improvement there.
Well, I got one more thought here for the viewers, but Schmitty, I'll let you hit it first. Any closing thoughts for us today?
Yes, Griffey. If we're going to run the ball 50 times and I see Josh Myers out there snapping that damn ball anymore, I'm going to be fit to be had. Jordan Morgan, we didn't mention on tonight, but he got injured. He was off the field. So I'm not sure where we stand with him. But if he's back, we got to get Josh out of there. I don't care. I watched the game with a James Dillenberg on Sunday, Griffey, and every time that Josh Myers was out, just whiffing on linebackers, wasn't touching anyone. The guy doesn't have the ability to play in the National Football League. Might be a nice guy, Ohio State alum. God bless him. He can't play football at this level. We got to move on from our friend. We got to switch it up. We've had plenty of guys on that front that have played center or moved around the positions. Put the best 5 out there. He's not one of them. Please, MLF, hear my cries.
I had thoughts on I reserved giving out my cheese-filled cash there. I'm going to give it to Dontavian Wicks for bouncing back. He didn't do anything extraordinary, but after the performance he had in week 1, that's a tough thing to do, bounce back as a young guy, and so I just want to give him his due. The other thing is, I felt pretty good seeing Josh Jacobs with his 34 carries there. I don't think that's something Aaron Jones ever could have done for us, and we certainly miss Aaron and appreciate what he did for the organization. But if you just look at dollars per carry, I think we got a much better deal with the current man in the building there. Dad, what are your closing thoughts for us tonight?
Boy, I think I laid it all out there. I the only thing I would say, I guess, I can't denigrate Schmitty's opinion here too much on the center. The only problem is I think that if without the without Jordan Morgan out there, he's one of the top 5 still. So until Jordan Morgan gets healthy, I don't know that you're going to see a change at center because, what do you do? Who's your center? You're going to move Elton John over there, Elton Jenkins. I call him Elton John. And who do you have to put in a guard? You're going to move Sean Ryan over. So you without Jordan Morgan, Schmitty, old buddy, you're going to have to buck up. And at least the
Sadly.
kid, is a gamer. He throws up and keeps going. So God bless him for the effort. And we'll just muddle through. But everything will be fine if number 10 is out there. That's in 10 we trust. Let's get her done.
He's bucking up. Jordan loves bucking up. And we'll be riding high in the saddle next week. So thanks for joining me here. Yeah, what's that?
Crash, boys. Don't you worry. Right in the refrigerator. It's all ready to go.
Glad to hear it. Hey, thanks for joining us here, guys. Have a nice night, and let's get back together after one more for the good guys.
Love you all. Go Pack.
Take care.
See you next week.